This is the Iceman, John Bailey. Wanted to do a quick review on finishing up your setup for the hunting season. A lot of guys, uh, they use different tactics when it comes to anchoring your bow in. But at full draw, it's just as simple as it gets when you use a kisser button along with your peep. For the last 34 years of me bow hunting, I've never really used a kisser button. I've always just used the tip of my nose on a string as an anchor point, and even the inside of my knuckle on the lobe of my ear. But in some cases, I wouldn't even think about that when a big old buck is coming in my shooting lane. So probably about 10 years ago, I told the archery shop to go ahead and put a kisser button on here, because what would happen a lot of the times, I would have my bucks come in just before dark or just after just before light, where I could barely see him. I knew it was a shooter because of the body and the rack, but I couldn't really visually see the whole rack. So I would wait on most encounters. But anyway, using this kisser button, when I'm at full draw, I have it in the corner of my mouth. And when I have it in the corner of my mouth, I'm looking straight through the peep sight anyway. So that takes out the guesswork, because before I put the peep sight on, before I put the kisser button on there, I was always up and down real slightly with my peep sight during low light conditions, and I occasionally would miss that deer, shoot either over him or under him. So I had to figure out a way to be really consistent on getting my bucks during those lower light conditions. So like I said, I went on and went with this kisser button. So basically what I do at full draw, I got the kisser button in the corner of my mouth, and I'm looking dead through the peep, and I'm looking at the pin. So while I'm using the kisser button primarily as an anchor point, I don't even pay no attention to the peep sight anymore, because it's already centered when I have the kisser button in the corner of my mouth. So when I'm at full draw, kisser button in the corner of my mouth, I'm looking just straight at the pin, and that takes out a lot of guesswork during low light conditions. Plus, also, I've learned to sight this bow in like a rifle. What I normally do, uh, since my bow is shooting like 305 IBO at 70 pounds of 29-inch draw, and I'm shooting a 396 grain arrow, and I'm getting around 305, 306. So what I do, I sight my bow in it starting at 20 yards, then I move back to 30 and 40 and shoot all three distance with the pin already set, because I'm using the HHA Optimizer Pro Light, where it has a little slide adjustment where I can actually adjust it. So anyway, when I get back at 40 yards and shoot, I see where my arrow go, and normally it's within like 2 inches or so of the target. So what I do, I lower my sight just like 2 or 3 increments, and I get it just barely an inch or half inch underneath of bullseye at 40, and then I go back to 20, and I'm shooting like 2 inches high at 20. So that's pretty much how I like it. So I don't even have to worry about adjusting this sight here, because basically what I'm doing is I'm just using it as a rifle concept, where I'm shooting it at 40 yards, between 20 and 40 yards, without even having to slide this here. So I think it's a really good concept on shooting at a deer, because a lot of guys, they miss deer because they have 4 and 5 pins, and the deer might be 30 yards and they think the deer is 40 or 35, and they put the 30-yard pin on them, and they shoot under the deer, or they put the 40-yard pin on them and shoot over the deer. So, but like I said, it don't really work, not unless your bow is shooting 300 feet per second or faster. That's when that rifle concept really works, from 0 to 40 yards with just one setting. But like I said, I really figured out a lot of different tactics on how to be more successful in the woods. But like I said, that kisser button being in the corner of your mouth like that, I mean, it's really, really a deadly tactic. I mean, it's just as old school can get. But a lot of guys don't pay no attention to it. They're thinking, oh yeah, I just need an anchor point, and that's all they do. But they don't realize, if they don't have this kisser button, and they just looking through their peep, got the string on their nose, and they looking through the peep on low light. A lot of times they're gonna miss that deer because the peep is actually angled a little too high or it's angled too low when you got it at full draw. But if you have that kisser button in the corner of your mouth, man, you can't get no better anchor than that. And while it's at full draw, like I said, when you have a kisser button mounted on your string while at full draw, just make sure you're looking dead through the peeps, dead center through that peep while you're at full draw. Then you won't have to worry about going up and down with the bow. And like I said, just it's really not all that complicated. It's just that use a little common sense and do what you do. Plus, I try to keep my bow as light as possible. I put that in the previous video, but I went with a short stabilizer because I was in Africa hunting, and I decided to put a stabilizer on there, and it worked really well. But I went with a stabilizer on my stone finish bow as well. It shoots really good like that, but you got to make sure that you got everything tuned up. Paper tune your bow first. Once you paper tune it, then go ahead and put it together and send some down range. But I pretty much like shooting one arrow at a time. I don't shoot multiple arrows, and I'll probably be bouncing around all through this video here, but I get a little excited when I talk about compound bows because that's my first love. But anyway, kisser button, great. Also silencers, I just got 4 silencers on here, just like on my other bow. When I went to Africa, I just had 4 silencers on my other bow, and I shot, like I said, I shot a kudu, wildebeest, 2 impalas, a warthog, and a blessed buck. And when I reviewed the footage after shooting all of the animals, I've never saw one of the animals duck the string. So that really made me impressed with these Halon bows. And just simple silencers. You got your stabilizer on the bottom for Matthews, and you got your harmonic dampener up top, and it's just basic stuff on here. So, and I don't like to add a whole lot of stuff on my bow. I mean, I'm old school because I don't like my bow to be too heavy, and I don't want it to be too light either, but I definitely don't want it to be too heavy. But anyway, going back to what I was talking about, this kisser button, like I said, is daily tactic on low light conditions. I mean, it's daily tactic all hours of the day, but mainly low light conditions. You want to be able to have that solid anchor point. You want to be able to be looking straight through that kisser button, looking at that pin. But like I said, once you have that kisser button in place, all you got to do is just focus on kisser button, pin, and release. You ain't got to worry about the peep sight anymore. So that'll kind of, it cuts down on your steps that you have to deal with when you got to shoot a buck coming in position. Because, you got enough to worry about it as it is. You already got buck fever. So, but anyway, I hope this helped you guys. Hope y'all have a great season. And like I said, this is my Halon 6 stone finish. It's 29-inch draw, 70-pound bow, and I'm getting 305, 306 through the chrono. That's perfect for me. But anyway, anytime you're shooting under, I want to say 300 feet per second, I wouldn't try the 0 to the 40. 0 to 40 with one setting. I would go from 0 to 30 if you're shooting like 295 and under. Alright, hope this helped you. Iceman signing out. Take care.